Hello again. A new television drama about the British Intelligence Service has started. It is called Slow Horses and it stars Gary Oldman, who of course played George Smiley in a filmed adaptation of John le Carre's novel Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Now, one of the things which many of us have noticed over the last few years is that Muslims can never be shown as vicious or bad people in television drama. The inflexible rule is that when there are violent interactions between white people and ethnic or religious minorities, it is the white people who must be shown as dangerous maniacs and the Muslims as their victims. This is a strange reversal of the usual order of affairs in the real world, of course, where Muslim attacks on white Christians tend to be somewhat more common than white violence against Muslims. It's part of a general trend, really, in which all minorities are shown to be, in general, reasonable and intelligent people who have to contend with brutish and slow-witted whites. Black people are usually the superiors of whites in professional settings, so that black police officers will be ordering white subordinates about, a black person will be the head of a hospital, law firm and so on. This is of course the reverse of the real world, where black people working in hospitals, say, are more likely to be security guards than they are brain surgeons. I think it's all part of a wider scheme designed to reduce the status of white people in British society and to persuade us that we are in some sense inferior. Which brings me neatly to Muslims in spy thrillers. A few years ago the spy drama Spooks began with a plot which showed Christian anti-abortion fanatics setting off bombs in England and doctors in family planning clinics being assassinated. Then there was a white supremacist who was determined to provoke a race war. I need hardly say that the number of Christian fundamentalists in this country planting bombs in real life is, shall we say, dwarfed by the number of Muslim fundamentalists doing so. In fact, to be brutally honest, I cannot recollect a case of a Christian planting a terrorist bomb in Britain this century. Slow Horses, which began screening on Apple Plus TV this month, pursues the same kind of theme. I give a link to a review of this in the description to this video. In the opening of this series, the villains are a group of English white supremacists who have kidnapped a poor innocent youth of Pakistani heritage who was born in this country. And get this, they are intending to behead him. Now, I'm bound to say that beheading people is not a very common occurrence in the British Isles. There was that case in the Irish town of Sligo recently that I mentioned here, but the person chopping off the heads there was a Muslim fanatic rather than a white supremacist. Of course, beheading people does still happen in the world. It's an official mode of execution in Saudi Arabia, for example, and it's used sometimes by irregular forces in the Middle East and Africa. The only thing is, cutting people's heads off these days is almost invariably the work of Muslims, rather than white Christians, which makes the plot of this new thriller a little bizarre. The aim is, of course, to present some kind of equivalence and to counter the idea that beheading is a particularly Muslim thing, by showing that all sorts of ethnicities go in for it. Except, of course, that they don't. Not really. This is, as I say, all of a piece with making black people powerful figures in professional settings in television drama. Black judges, black female surgeons and so on are a way of holding up a distorting mirror to British society and affording us a glimpse of an alternative universe. There's nothing wrong with this, of course, but it grows a little wearisome after a while. I enjoy some dramas showing a weird make-believe world which might have come into being but did not, things like The Man in the High Castle, for instance. But I do like to be able to make a conscious decision to watch that sort of fantasy. The current situation is that scenarios in a strange alternative universe are the default setting for British television drama these days. An unfamiliar world where hospitals have white security guards and black surgeons, where white Christians are threatening to behead Pakistani Muslims, and black people are all decent, law-abiding professionals who come up against antisocial and menacing whites.